From script to screen, every film is brought to life by visionary creatives and executives, all sharing one mission: to captivate the audience. Hosted by award-winning movie strategist Kevin Getz, our podcast, Don't Kill the Messenger, offers a filmmaking masterclass through intimate conversations with Hollywood's most influential voices. And now, your host, Kevin Getz.
Movies and social media may seem like very different worlds, but in reality, both are equal parts art and science. Just as filmmakers wrestle with balancing creativity and audience appeal, today's digital platforms challenge brands and studios to cut through the noise and capture people's attention. And just as cinema has constantly evolved from silent films to streaming, marketing is evolving at lightning speed too. My guests today, Troy and Mark Paul, are at the forefront of this change with their company SGG Media. By building a massive network of niche sports influencers, they've helped major studios and brands launch trailers, spark buzz, and reach particularly a younger generation, a younger audience, in ways traditional advertising no longer can. Today, we'll dig into what their work reveals about shifting audience behavior, creative promotion, and how Hollywood can embrace the changing playbook of tech and culture. Troy, Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for having us on.
It's so great to have you. So, guys, before we start, I think we need to provide context and to let the listeners know why I think this is important to have you on, why I invited you on the show, because one of the things that we share, well, we share a few things. One of them is the art and science part. The other thing we share is the word authenticity. So I want to really unpack those. But before we do, let me ask Troy if you could tell us in the most clear way what SGG Media is and does.
Sure. Well, from 30,000 feet, we're a sports social media agency through and through. What we do is we represent thousands of sports-specific influencers on X and on Instagram. Now, what's unique about us, what's a little bit different, is we don't work with our creators in the traditional sense of what an agency is. The best example I can give about SGG Media is when you think of us, we're not working with the Jake Pauls of the world or the ex-athletes or the celebrities of the world.
You had to pick Jake Paul, of all people.
Yeah, I mean, he's big in the news. He's got his big fight coming up.
I know, I'm just saying, but you know, the idea of you're sharing a name. Go ahead.
Yeah, very much so. We're working with, we like to call them micro-influencers.
Micro-influencers.
Yes.
What is a micro-influencer compared to a macro-influencer or just an influencer?
The best example I can give is when you think about our creators, when you think about micro-influencers, we're working with, let's take the Buffalo Bills. We're working with your everyday Buffalo Bills diehard super fan. Such a diehard fan. They love their team so much that they created an Instagram or an X page solely to post content about the Buffalo Bills. And it could be anything. It could be team news. It could be trades. It could be rumors. All things Buffalo Bills.
So that's one person that created that who's the most diehard fan. You have about 2,300 of these people who've created sites for specific teams, for specific clubs, etc.
Correct.
And you're the agent of those people, essentially.
So we took the superfans who built small micro-influencer accounts, and then we became the agency that represents them and introduces them to clients and helps monetize their traffic.
Fascinating. I love it because what you're saying is now I have, and I don't think I've ever heard this done, a place where the actual influencer, I don't think they're a micro-influencer, by the way. I don't even know why you'd call them a micro-influencer. To me, they're disciples. The people that follow them are the micro-influencers.
Well, the people who follow their accounts, they're die-hard fans.
So then why do you call them micro-influencers?
It's based on the size of their following. So,
how much are the following?
So when you're talking about a micro-influencer, you're talking about an account with roughly 10,000 to 100,000 followers.
That's a micro-influencer?
That's a micro-influencer. That's how big the social media space has gotten, that to be considered a macro-influencer,
is what?
We're talking 5 million plus followers.
Got it. Oh, gosh. Okay, so listeners, if my math is correct, that if you add up 2,300 times 20-something thousand, 80s, millions of people in the 80s.
Correct. Yeah. Collectively, between our entire audience, we actually just surpassed 88 million total fan followers.
Oh my God, that's staggering. Now, many studios have their own digital departments. Many agencies offer digital advertising and sales as a mechanism. What makes you different in the space?
The reality is that the entertainment space, as well as a lot of other industries, as it comes to marketing, it's rapidly changing in front of our eyes. And I would argue to even say that even the influencer space and the idea of leveraging creators to help promote your brand or your upcoming film or your trailer drop, even that's changing.
How so? Our listeners do want to know, because many of our listeners happen to be independent filmmakers who are distributing their own movies.
Yeah.
How is it changing?
So when I ask you, Kevin, when you think about influencers promoting movie drops, what comes to mind? I would imagine it's massive celebrities, it's athletes, it's
people I don't necessarily listen or believe. I'm sorry.
In a lot of cases, yes.
I may not believe them because I don't know them. And I feel like it's like a cash grab, or I'm being pandered to, essentially.
Yep.
But if somebody I trusted told me a message, I would believe them.
And that's really what our audience is. And what's different about what SGG does in our creator base, and frankly, how the entertainment space is evolving as it relates to influencers, is we're not representing the superstar celebrity who has 20 million followers on social. We're representing the team-specific, region-specific, sports-specific influencer who has 60,000 followers who are just diehard fans and really connect with the creator that they follow. That's our creator. That's who we represent.
Because I don't want to throw it all out at once, because it's so much to digest and so fascinating. Let me just turn this over to Mark. I often say we have a lot of brothers in this business: the Duffer brothers, the Coen brothers, the Russo brothers, the Polish brothers, the Hughes brothers, different people who are brothers. When you say the Pauls,
yes,
Mark is not your brother, but your dad. But as a dad, well, first of all, how proud are you?
I'm unbelievably proud. What he's done is amazing. I mean, just the concept that he has 88 million followers in his agency. If you can imagine hitting one button and posting something to 88 million people, it's staggering.
Well, what I love about it is you're not necessarily posting to 88 million people. I like the idea that you have access to 88 million people. Mm-hmm. But to me, the beauty of what you're doing is that there are people who are basketball fans but are not soccer fans, or people who are football fans but not baseball fans. This notion of a sports fan is very general. What you can do is hone in on your message and really get the specificity. Like literally, I remember calling you when I had a movie about the Green Bay Packers. And you're like, oh, that's easy peasy for us. Because you have people in the DMAs, right?
Yep.
Marketing zones of the Green Bay Packers. And you could actually target that. And that to me was beyond fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, Mark, your background, because aside from being an insanely supportive dad, a dad that we all would love. I was lucky enough to have a very supportive father. Not initially, but he was doing his best. And then you put your money where your mouth is. I mean, you invested in the company and you had a very successful dual career. One is a real estate guy and one as a writer. Can you tell us about both of those? My God, that was a double-barreled question if I ever heard one.
Well, traditionally, you think of a father-son business. I can assure you this is not a father and son business. This is a son and father business, because nobody wants to really hear about social media from somebody my age. They want young people and the people that grew up with it and understand it, which is him. But yes, young people do need some guidance, some capital, some structure. And I think we've
access.
Yeah.
A lot of guidance.
The opportunity. What did you say?
What
did you say?
I said a lot of guidance.
A lot of guidance.
So when I heard Troy's idea initially, I really immediately thought it was phenomenal. And I was really almost semi-retired. I would buy big buildings, and I specialized in getting 1031 exchange and other investors into bigger deals. And my average deal size was 30, 40 million. And I still have a few buildings of my own that I have that I was kind of semi-retired. And I said many times to my wife, I would go, I'm 68. I said, I got one good run left in me. It's got to be something good. And then when Troy came to me with this idea, I went, I love that. And one of the joys of it, too, is that Troy has a staff of 17. And the median age is probably 25. So it's a joy to work with all these young people and all this energy all the time. And I do the old guy stuff like clients, making sure that they stay in line, that we have the right insurance, handle CFO kind of stuff. But these young people run the company.
Wow. So, Troy, was he always like a supportive dad growing up?
Whole life. Anything I wanted to do, I had to be able to back it up, tell him why I wanted to do it, why I believed in it. But if I could convince him those things, there was nothing he wouldn't allow me to do or help support to follow.
How old are you right now?
I'm 27.
You're 27, newly engaged.
Newly engaged, yes.
You want to call out to your beautiful
Alvina,
bride-to-be?
I can't wait for you to watch this. I love you, baby, and looking forward to getting married May 29th next year.
What's her name?
Alvina.
Alvina.
Yeah.
And what's your wife's name, by the way?
Renee.
I knew that. But Renee, call out to Renee. It's a wonderful family. And I just want to talk about that for a second, because right before we got on, you were saying you were listening to Mike Medavoy's podcast because I guess, Mark, you coached.
I grew up with Nick.
Well, you
Mike's
grew up with
son.
Nick, and then you coached him in basketball.
I was a basketball coach for a lot of years, and I coached Troy and Nick all the time.
I just see this sort of wonderful rapport. Have you guys ever fought?
In terms of SGG in the business, it's going to sound crazy. We've never fought. We've disagreed, and we've
I
had
don't
to
believe you.
I know. Who would, right?
No, I know, really. No, I'm like, okay, seriously?
We've been in business for 5 years
Yeah, we
now.
challenge each other.
We challenge each other.
Yeah. But we do different things, too. Like, I'm not going to tell him about the social media business. What the hell do I know about the social media business?
Mark, you're an amazing man. You're so impressive. And more than anything, as a dad, I spotted it the moment I met you, the character of that man. And I just want to say that to our listeners. And that is so very important to the success of any business. But if backing your son and saying, I fully support that, that is really outrageous. Before we started this interview, Mark said to me, this is all about Troy. This is not my interview. He's the one that's going to speak 95% of the time. I said, no, he's not. This is about both of you, because it does take a team. It takes a village, really, to build a successful business. I know what that's like, and it's really tough.
There's no question. Yeah.
It is damn hard.
I'll ask this to you, Mark. What is the biggest challenge right now at this stage of your growth? You're how old now?
We've been in the space for 5 years now.
5 years.
I would say still to this day, people don't understand how difficult it is to grow a business organically. One of the things that I'm the proudest of the company is we have done all of this with a total amount of capital that we've raised is $3 million, of which I put in about $1 million.
Which is like nothing compared to many new businesses.
To be at a company, what we have with 2,300 influencers signed, and we represent, I'm proud to say now, 6 or 7 movie studios. We represented FanDuel and DraftKings and Fanatics and lots of really big companies. But it hasn't been easy. Troy and I have deferred our compensation now for 2 consecutive years because we believe in the company, and we just take every dollar we make and we reinvest in staff and teams and marketing. And
it's what you have to do, man.
It's what you have to do. You got to be all in.
It is all in. As many people have heard me say before, I cashed in everything I owned to start Screen Engine. And
that's what it takes.
It's what it takes.
It's all in.
But you know what's so interesting? When I've gone for financing, banking, whatever it may be, people love the story. Because if you're going to put your ass on the line like that, you're the real deal.
Yep.
No one's handing you anything.
If you don't believe 100% in what you're doing, then you're not going to be able to raise capital. You're not going to be able to sign clients, because if the founders don't believe in what they're doing, then it's going to be hard to sell it to everybody else.
Okay, so let's talk about you and the dream. You're at NYU.
Correct.
The year is the late
2020.
Well, you graduated in 2020.
I graduated in 2020. I came up with the idea, or I started to dabble with the idea of creators in 2019.
That's what I'm saying. So tell me about how you got the idea and how you then formed it into SGG. By the way, what does SGG stand for?
Sports Gambling Guides, which
Sports Gambling Guides, which the business is not.
Not primarily anymore, but that's another fun thing about being an entrepreneur is you go down the path and you don't know where it's going to take you. And
Exactly.
when we named our company, we thought we knew exactly what it was going to be, right? When we started. And then flash forward 5 years later, it's not always that. So my advice to entrepreneurs and founders that are thinking to name their company, you don't know exactly where your company is going to be even 2 years after you create
So
it.
interesting to say that. So when I named Screen Engine, I was thinking I am in movies,
Yep.
but I'll surely want to be in television. And I'll probably want to be in gaming eventually. And so I had the wherewithal to not say anything with movies in it.
Yep.
But even Screen Engine today has evolved to such a place that nearly 30% of my company has really nothing to do with a movie screen, a television screen. Yep. In other words, we do branding, we do landscape studies, we do all kinds of positioning, marketing work. And so now it's almost a rethink of, what do we do? How do we send those messages to the world? But I thought I was broad at the time.
Yeah. We named our company after sports gambling because that was our initial client base we were focused on, is working with the legal sports betting companies. And then flash forward.
You heard that, people, legal.
Yeah, very much so. And then flash forward to today, and a good chunk of our business is coming from entertainment clients and movie studios. And that has nothing to do with sports gambling.
And that's how we met, actually.
It is how we met through the entertainment space.
Our friends, David Friendly, was a guest on this podcast. Have you heard his episode?
Yes.
I have. It was fantastic.
He's fantastic.
Dave's a great guy.
And our other great buddy, Michael Rosenberg, who has now joined your
advisory board. They have been instrumental in taking our company to a completely different level and taking us into the entertainment business. I would joke when we're on the calls now with Warner Brothers or Sony or somebody, I'll be on the call and I go, Troy, how do we market this movie? And I'll go, well, you realize we have been in the entertainment business now for over 5 months.
Okay. Michael Rosenberg is a force of nature, I just want to say. I think I embarrass him a lot because I'm always calling him a legend in our business. But he started off running Saul Zantz's company. And Saul Zantz, of course, was a producer who's, I think, won 3 Academy Awards and only made fewer than 20 movies or something. Wow. The record is extraordinary. He then ran Imagine Entertainment for years with Ron Howard, another guest, Brian Grazer, another guest at the company, and just had an innate sense of great marketing prowess and business sense. And I can't speak highly enough of him.
He's fantastic. And everybody loves him. If you make a call with Michael on it, everybody just respects him.
You want to talk about authenticity?
Yes.
That man's authentic, as is David Friendly, whose father, Fred Friendly, as the head of CBS News, came from that journalistic integrity. It's in his DNA. Mm-hmm. So I love that you're aligning yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
I want to just go back to you. Troy, tell us about, again, you're a student, you're observant, you're curious, you're seeing what's going on around you.
Yeah, well, it really boils down to I'm a massive, massive sports fan, love the Lakers. I grew up watching every game, and I was fascinated with how sports media was changing and how I was receiving it. I used to, when I was younger, go on to ESPN.com, and that's how I found out about the Lakers and who they traded for. And then flash forward to 2019, I was noticing that every single day when I wanted to find out about my team or what trades were happening, I was going to social media and the influencers
Where were you
that
going
I followed.
At that time?
At that time, and I think this is still very much so exists today, sports lives on X. And I believe that when you're looking for a trade rumor or a piece of news or who got injured, you're going to X because you're going to get a Woj bomb or you're going to get a tweet from Shams, and that's where you're going to find out that information. So predominantly on X is where I get my sports information, along with many people around the country, but Instagram as well.
Your dad and I are looking at each other going, what the? Like, we didn't get our information that way.
Yeah.
I was a diehard Met fan growing up, and Giants in football. Not me so much, but my family. Was coming to our house on a Sunday was like church. And it was because when the Giants were playing, you were all in. But we're like, where did we find out about stuff?
I don't know. I'm addicted to social media and X.
No, now you are. I'm saying when we were growing up. I mean, you're older. You're older than I am. Hold on, I want to say that so all the listeners can hear that. Yeah, go ahead.
You would get the newspaper in the morning and you would read the newspaper.
Exactly.
And it was so dated. And by the time it happened, it was already out of date.
I want to just say, Troy, you so remind me of my brother. I think I've told you this before. My brother, when he was younger, I would go by his door of his room. We all had the 3 bedrooms of the kids
Sure.
were in order, and I was at the end and I'd pass his bedroom and I'd hear, and I'd open up the door and he's announcing a baseball game, like a pretend game. And he ended up becoming a sports announcer on the local station where he was in school and moved on to almost a career in broadcasting before he ended up going into education.
Sure. That's dedication. That was me.
But he was obsessed with sports and stats.
Yes.
And the drafts.
Everything.
And things like that. So you're now on X, you're getting your information. How do you get the idea for this business?
So I'm noticing this change and I'm fascinated by it. And flash forward to 2020, and this is right as COVID hits. COVID begins, and it's my senior year of college, and I get sent home. I get sent from New York back to California for God knows how long. And the job market is tough because it's COVID, and coming out of college, it's very difficult.
What was your major?
I majored in real estate finance, which has literally nothing to do with what I do now.
Well, it was your father's.
Yeah, I grew up around real estate. I was always interested in business, and that made the most sense to major in that.
God, I didn't even know there was a major called real estate finance.
Yeah.
Because I'm really into real estate.
Yeah, Shaq
I think you know that, right?
NYU.
I'm a broker, actually. I actually have my broker's license.
Okay.
Very few people know that.
Yeah.
I couldn't close a house, but I keep it. But I could actually hang my own shingle. But the truth of the matter is, I love learning and learning about real estate and sort of feeling that sense of ownership is really cool.
Of course. So I'd say it's peak COVID, 2020. I'm back at home. I can't get a job. It's very, very difficult.
Where were you applying?
I was applying to real estate finance companies and investment banking companies.
Okay.
And I was thinking about going the finance route, which is very common from NYU. And it's difficult. And I'm doing a little bit of soul searching, and I'm on X and I'm on Instagram. And I'm seeing how these creators are posting their information. And I'm looking at these smaller accounts, these micro influencers, and none of them are monetizing their traffic. None of them have partnerships. And they're posting dozens of times a day and generating millions of impressions a month, and they can't monetize their traffic. They're not.
Wow.
And I go, something's wrong here. These accounts are too powerful.
How'd you know that they weren't monetizing them?
Because you would be able to see on an X account if he was posting sponsored posts or ads, or he was promoting a trailer,
I see.
whatever
Of course,
it may be.
of course.
And they weren't doing that. So I thought that there could be a little opportunity there. And that was really right as the legal sports betting business was exploding. And I knew that these companies would want to be leveraging sports influencers as they're marketing their brand. So the first thing I did was I actually called my buddy from high school, Joe Hayes, who's employee number 1 at SGG. And I knew he would know about this because when we were in high school, he actually ran one of these micro influencer accounts. So I had seen it before.
You mean he got his own?
He created one. He built it up. Yeah. He had
How big did it get?
150,000 followers.
Damn.
And I saw him building it in high school.
Joe.
Yeah, he's a star. And I called him and I asked what he thought about it. And he says, yeah, this is an interesting space. And I struggled to find sponsors when I had my channel. So I kind of just put 2 and 2 together. And I said, hey, it's COVID and I'm not working. And this is something I'm really passionate about. So let's try to build something here. And that's when I went to my dad and I went to Mark and I pitched him the full idea. And he's the most supportive dad ever, but it wasn't without questions. He wanted to challenge me and I had to really show him that there's a business here.
Did he make you build a business model?
Yeah, I believe I had to put together like a PowerPoint and a business plan and talk him through it. But once he saw the power that these creators have, especially in masses, when you have not 1 or 2 or 10, but when you have hundreds of them together, that really showed him what's possible in the social media space. And the rest is history. We kind of kicked off from there.
Yeah. Wow. So first he started signing 1, then 10, then 100, then 1,000, and it grew. And now they call him.
Wow.
They're the creators.
Wow. When we come back, we're going to unpack what that means and how you built up to the number you have today. And also, I want to get into a bit about your entrepreneurship. We'll be back in a moment. If you're curious about how movies actually turn a profit, I've got something for you. My upcoming book, How to Score in Hollywood, dives into the intersection of creative instinct and audience insight and where the business of film meets the art of storytelling. The book is available for pre-order now on your favorite bookseller platform. I'm also putting together a book launch team, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. We're looking for people to help spread the word ahead of our November release and also to leave a short book review after its release. In exchange, you'll get early access to the book, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and more. Sign up to join my launch team or for book updates at kevingets360.com. And as always, Thank you for your support. We're back with Mark and Troy Paul, father and son dynamic duo. Troy, you were kind of like myself, started as an entrepreneur pretty early. I started my first business when I was 17 years old, but I was selling lemonade on the street and all sorts of stuff, mowing lawns and babysitting and all that, like many kids. But I started a business at 17, and I was very proud of that. Tell me about your beginnings as an entrepreneur.
I'm going to jump in here.
Oh, the man who said he wasn't going to talk.
Yeah, exactly. You can't shut me up, you know that. Troy's born this way. I remember when he was at a private school, I'd drop him off on Wednesdays. He says, "Dad, how much cash do you have?" I go, "I don't know, maybe $200. He says, "Give it to me." I said, "For how long?" He says, "I'll give it back tonight." I go, "Fine." I'd give him $200.
How old was he?
Oh, maybe
11.
He's getting Father of the Year. I'm sorry.
No,
y'all, he's getting Father of the Year.
I believed in him, and then he explained to me that night. He come back and he handed me like $230.
I give him some interest.
Let's be clear. I give you because what do you do? He says he went to a high-end private school, and the kids were very lazy, and they had pizza day on Wednesdays, and the rich kids didn't want to stand in line for the pizzas. So what he would do is he would hire runners. As soon as the bell rang, he'd have runners that would take like $50 each, run to the front of the pizza line, buy entire pizzas, and then sell them by the piece. So he was buying for $2.50, and he was selling them for, I don't know, $7 a slice every Wednesday.
But the beauty of it was I would wait until the line got super long. And it was like a 30-minute wait for the people in the back. And then lunch is only 45 minutes. So you've created a market. You're going to go to the back.
Wait a minute, were you found out?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah,
he
that's
actually,
what I want to know.
Where it gets good.
So he actually gets called in to the dean of the whole school. His mother and I are coming in. We have no idea, what horrible thing has he done? And the dean is saying, Troy, you're selling pizzas at school and you're selling Pokemon cards and all these things. You cannot do this on a campus. And I thought Troy, here he's 11 years old. I thought he'd be, oh my God, he'd apologize and be contrite. No, not Troy. Troy listens to the whole thing, to the dean of the school. And finally, the dean says, "Do you have anything to say about your activities?" And Troy says, "Dean," he says, "I'm not making them buy. I'm just providing a service."
It's true.
It's no contrition whatsoever.
Oh, I love you.
It's true.
Troy, you're my man. We are so cut from the same cloth. I love it.
Of course.
What was your recollection? Anything different, or is that pretty well sum it up?
That's pretty spot on. I don't think they like my answer though. I don't think they were the biggest fans of the answer, but it doesn't
How
make
did
it
you
less true.
convince people to come on board? You said you started with 10 and then it went to 100 and blah, but you built to 2,300 or whatever you have now, and with people calling you, as I say, what do you provide them? Do you pay them? How does it work from an exchange? What do they get at?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we really provide two primary services to our creators in our partnership. And the first one is that we help them monetize their traffic, which is a big thing. You have to keep in mind, these are creators that are spending 12 hours a day making dozens and dozens of posts day after day after day.
Is this their job?
Thankfully, because of agencies like SGG, it's starting to become that.
Or are these sites their jobs?
It can't be. Before agencies started representing these influencers, they made no money.
How many agencies are there? Who's your competitors?
There's multiple agencies that work with micro-influencers today, but the majority of them are representing more female-led creators that are focused on the beauty space, which is a great business and a great industry. As it comes to sports-focused micro-influencer, we have an enormous amount of market share when it comes to these smaller creator
Might
accounts.
you go into other verticals?
I think it's on the horizon. I think our focus is on pairing our sports creators, and keep in mind we have 2,300 of them, so we have immense scale. It's pairing them with the right clients.
I was going to say, what do you do as an agent?
So back to your initial question, our job as the agent for our influencers is to do two things. Number one, help them monetize their traffic and help them actually get paid for the hard work that they put in and the base they've built. And then the second thing is helping these creators collaborate and work with other influencers in the space, other sports accounts, sports micro-influencers, and collaborate together on posts to help cross-pollinate their audiences and build their followers.
Okay, I have a New York Giants site. I come to you and I say, what can you do for me? What are you going to say?
I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to help monetize your traffic.
And I'm going to say, well, how would you do that?
I'm going to say I have clients across the entertainment industry that we work with on a daily basis, and we have great contacts in the sports betting. And
Well, how am I going to make money doing that?
So when we get a campaign from Fanatics, for instance, Fanatics, depending on which football team won an NFL game, will want to push those jerseys. And because you're a New York Giants fan account, every time the New York Giants win on a Sunday or on Thursday Night Football, I'm going to take a Fanatics campaign. I'm going to ask you to post about it to your fans.
You're going to create the campaign?
You're going
to create the creative?
It would depend. In that case, we would be creating the creative and there's using the influencer's channel.
Okay, I'm finally now seeing the art and the science. Keep going.
Yeah. So in that case with Fanatics, I would say, listen, we're going to come to you with a set of creatives about the New York Giants' best players, their jerseys. And when they win a Thursday Night Football game, the moment that game's over, I'm going to ask you to post this to your fans. And you're going to have a Fanatics link in your description.
And they love it, the fans, right?
They love it because their team just won. They want to buy their favorite jersey, you know?
Okay, so that's the one thing you do. What's the second thing?
The second thing, and this is really important, is we help these creators grow their audience.
Oh, and how do you do that?
If you're an influencer, getting from 0 to 10,000 followers is almost impossible.
Tell me about it. No, I mean, I know how organically difficult it is to build a following.
It is.
Because I never had social until my book Audienceology came out. And also when this podcast happened, suddenly it started to grow exponentially. But exponentially is still not hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, it takes time. But the best way I would argue for a creator to grow their channel is to collaborate with other influencers that are in a similar space whose followers may engage with your content. They just haven't been introduced to it yet.
Might you put two of your people together?
In many cases, yes.
That's so genius.
So, for instance, take the New York Giants, as we speak of, and then take the New York Knicks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Jets. I was
No,
like,
not going to the Jets.
Really
I know the war there.
Yeah.
I know where the war is.
Yeah.
So you can take the Knicks influencer fan account, and you can take the Giants influencer fan account. And if these two collaborate on Instagram on a post, and you can do
Even
this,
though they're two different sports?
it's two different sports, but if you're a New York Knicks fan, you, in many cases, are semi-interested in what the Giants are doing.
I just, as an aside, I was at Hillcrest Country Club the other night for dinner, and this guy sat across from me, and he said, I'm a Mets, Giants, and Knicks fan. I said, so is my family. I said, I've never met that combination. You know, it's very rare.
Usually it's Yankees, Giants, and Knicks, from what I've seen.
Or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I would say, let's take a New York Knicks fan account. Let's take a New York Giants fan account. And you two will collaborate on this post that's about New York sports.
So it's not even they're collaborating on their businesses. They're just collaborating on individual
content.
Wow.
Content. And they're posting it to both audiences.
And so you would then be able to share your viewers. So because a viewer, a fan, can be on multiple sites.
Yeah, correct.
So how many of your 88 million are what we call in my business dedupes? People that are the same. So how many uniques, I guess, might be the right way to ask that?
And that's a great question. And we don't know the exact answer. Is the truth. Social media doesn't
I'm
tell
not sure it matters, quite frankly. No, I just want to say that. Because when we do studies in market research for movies, trailer testing, commercial testing, whatever, for a film, we hire professional sample partners. There's tremendous research hygiene surrounding those sample providers. It's not randomly sending emails to people. We pay for that service. These people are perhaps giving us the same person that might be in one sample versus another. However, there's mechanisms to detect that they can't come into the same survey, but they may be on 3 or 4 different sample providing networks.
Yep. I would also say to that point, because we work with team-specific and targeted accounts, I do think our crossover and our cross-pollination is less than other social media accounts in the space. And the reason why is because if you're following a Green Bay Packers fan account, you're not following a Washington Commanders fan account because you hate the Commanders because they have a rivalry. And that's the case with
That's what you said before, yeah.
With so many teams and so many sports that a lot of our fan accounts and people who follow these accounts, they're not following the other ones because they're just a diehard Lakers fan.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, hitting someone with an impression might be just fine because someone's going to get 5 impressions, someone maybe get 3 impressions, but they're still a valuable person to reach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's quite interesting, actually.
If I may, sports is unique. The hottest thing in media and the hottest thing in entertainment is sports, because it's really one of the very few things that happens live that you care about instantly. And I've seen the stats now. It's like if one of our followers gets a post about a sports team, literally it's about 400 or 500% more likely to watch and look at that impression instantly, because he wants to know, oh, something came in on my Laker account. Did somebody get hurt? Did somebody get traded? What happened now? So whereas if you're posting something on, even if, on some of the female accounts about makeup or hair or something, they may care, but there's no sense of urgency. That with sports, and you're posting things on sports, there's a sense of urgency.
Do I need to come to you if I'm only have a sports themed movie or television show?
No, our audience skews male. And if you have a movie project, and we've worked on many of these at this point, that's targeted at males of a younger age range, we can hit that in spades.
How is that different than just going after any other male-oriented program? Or is it not?
It is different, because if you're looking to target a younger demographic of males, you have to go where they live. You have to go where they're going to consume their media. And the answer to that is they're on social media.
We know, and let's just cut the bullshit, most people are not watching ads. Certainly not at the level, and certainly not younger people. So you have to reach them, to your point, in a really authentic way. And I want to unpack what that word means for you, because your whole business is based on authenticity. And I am such a fan of that word, because so much of what I talk about and write about and present when I'm talking about data is about being authentic to an audience.
Very much so. What's great about the creators we represent is that they have a smaller audience, but the audience that they have is super loyal. They're diehard fans of a team. So when we're running campaigns and we're working with clients, it's really important to us and our creators as well that we're presenting whatever the advertisement may be, whatever the campaign is, in a way that speaks to the fans of this creator.
That's very labor intensive, because you really have to tailor make so many of your ads.
It can be, and it really does depend on the campaign that we're running. But the thing about these creators is they're amazing at what they do. They're amazing at putting together unique creative that speaks to their fans. As it relates to authenticity, and when we're creating campaigns for our clients and we're distributing them through our creators, what makes our accounts unique is that they may only have 30,000 followers, but these are die-hard, loyal fans of this micro-influencer account. So it's our job when we're presenting a campaign to work with the creator and make sure that whatever post gets made not only is good for the client and speaks to what they're trying to accomplish, but it also has to speak to the influencer's audience. And that's really something that's taken years for us to perfect, and a lot of hard work with the creators to get to the point where we can organically present advertisements that the fans actually enjoy.
So tell me about that dance. So I'm an
influencer or creator.
So if you present a piece of creative, do you sometimes, often, never get a creator saying, oh, I can't put that up. That doesn't feel authentic. That doesn't feel, that's going to feel like a cash grab.
It absolutely happens, especially when you're working with so many different influencers. But we really do our best to, when we get a job from a client, we think to which creators' audiences would actually enjoy
Oh, that's
this
interesting
content.
too.
So it really starts with us fielding through what advertising deals we're looking at and making sure the creators we're pairing with it, those audiences want to see
Are they
that.
forced to put your creative on as part of your contract?
Absolutely not. They're never forced. It's their account. It's not ours.
Troy, maybe you could mention, a lot of times you'll get an actor in a movie and try to compare that to an athlete. I love the way you do that.
Yeah, I can give some examples actually. When we've been working with some studios in the space, Universal, by the way, has been so revolutionary in how they've thought about utilizing creators and creating this organic content. And they were really one of the first studios that believed in us and stepped in to start utilizing micro-influencers. So we're so grateful to be working with them. But they had a campaign for a movie, Him.
Jordan Peele.
Correct. It's a fantastic movie.
It's fantastic.
I cannot wait to see it. But when they dropped their first trailer, they were brilliant. They coincided it with the day of the NFL draft. And the movie Him is about a rookie coming into the league and the journey he goes on. So they had a great...
Did you watch the movie, by the way, to be able to come up with this?
I have not seen the movie yet. I've seen the trailers.
Right. So I'm saying you did this not even seeing the movie.
Correct. Okay, all I had was
Keep
what
going, yeah.
everyone else has seen. But when that trailer dropped, it was the day of the NFL draft. And what we did is we have 400 or 500 NFL specific accounts. And we had those accounts take the trailer, which is about a rookie joining the league. And we had our influencers post to their fans the trailer and then ask their fans the question, who on our team does this remind you of? Or who in this year's NFL draft?
So it's really, you're engaging them, you're interacting with them. So they're participating in the campaign.
You're taking a movie.
Exactly.
You're taking a movie trailer, and because micro influencers can be so targeted towards specific teams or specific sports, you're now getting a comment section because the question the influencer asks, you're getting a comment section that is debates and people going back and forth and saying, "Oh, this is Brady. No, this is Rodgers," and you're getting memes and you're getting the engagement, which is really what studios are looking for. They want people engaging with their trailers and their content.
That's an amazing example. You have another one?
That's a sports movie, but it doesn't have to be a sports movie.
It's not a sports movie. It's
Well,
not a sports
there's a
movie.
sports
There's a sports
component.
component,
Yeah.
sports background.
But-
That's what's genius about what you're saying,
Yeah.
because you don't have to have a Rocky or a
No, you don't.
right or a Mighty Ducks or
You-
whatever it is today,
no,
right? Remember the Titans.
You should have a movie that males are probably more interested in. So it could be an action movie, a superhero
Do you know what
movie.
your demography is, like male to
Yes.
female?
Yeah, roughly 80% male.
Wow.
So it skews heavily male.
Oh my God. I just want to say to the listeners, that makes you very important, because males, particularly younger males, are the hardest audience to reach. And you've got to, as you said, find them where they go.
Yep, you got to go where they live.
Genius. Was there another example you said you had?
I mean, there's plenty of
There's
examples
dozens,
I can
yeah.
go into, but I would love to speak, Kevin, as well about what's unique about working with micro influencers. And this speaks beyond just SGG in our business.
Please.
Is that when you utilize a major celebrity, or use Livy Dunn, for example, who just ran a campaign with Fanatics yesterday, you're tapping into her audience and they're paying her a lot of money because she has a brand name and a face people recognize, and it's fantastic. And a lot of people see it because Livy Dunn is posting it. Now, what's unique about micro influencers is, in the majority of cases, these influencers don't have a face behind their channel. They're not on camera. They're not speaking to their fans every day. They're posting about one specific team. So a new way of media distribution has really evolved from working with micro influencers, and it's the world of amplification of other content.
Can you explain what amplification is?
Yes, and it's something that in our roles with the entertainment companies we've been working with has become probably the most important types of campaigns that we run on a daily basis for studios. And what amplification is when you think about working with influencers, you think about paying a big celebrity to make a post on their Instagram channel, and you hope people see it, and that's it. What amplification is, so I'll give you an example of what amplification is. When a studio has a trailer that just went live, and it's the trailer drop, and they're pushing it out for the first time to the public, what micro influencers can do and what SGG can do is, the moment that trailer gets posted on X, the moment that trailer gets posted on Instagram, we can have 300 or 400 or 500 influencers repost that trailer, repost that content directly to their audiences. And if you think about it, the influencer actually isn't creating their own custom content. They're reposting the content that's coming from a studio. It's coming from the @Universal handle or @Sony
Okay,
handle.
so sorry, I have to just ask this. So you're asking them to repost. How does the influencer get paid for that? Because you're given a fee from the studio, you share that with your influencers?
Of course, yeah, we have a...
That's what I mean. I'm just curious.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And the brilliance of that and why it's becoming so popular is that when you're a company and you're posting advertisements, you also want to be building up your own following behind your social handles and your channels. And if you're just utilizing influencers to post custom content, you're not achieving that because the posts are coming up from Livy Dunn's channel or a different creator's channel. But when you have 300 influencers reposting whatever the trailer is that just got dropped on the @ and then whatever the studio's name is, social media channel, not only are you getting great viewership, you're building up the following behind your own channel that the studios own and operate. That is immensely important as they're trying to build out their social media presence.
Incredible. Your background, as you said, with SGG started with the word gambling.
Legal gambling.
Legal gambling. Mark, you were in the sort of the gambling adjacent business?
No, not at all. I just happened to love horse racing.
You mean it's just a love? You were never in that business?
No, the only way I was in the business is I've purchased and owned fractional interests in about 46 thoroughbred racehorses,
Oh, wow.
of which my wife knows about 20 of them.
Yeah.
So
Keep it that way.
I hope she doesn't
Trust me.
hear about this.
Keep it that way. Yeah.
So if it was a business, it was a losing money business, to be sure. But it was a passion that
Have
I
you always had
in
that
horse
passion?
racing. Oh, yeah. I loved horse racing from the day I first set foot at the track. And Troy shared that love too. When my kids were young, 4, 5, 6 years old, my wife would always tell me, Mark, take the kids to the park.
What other kid is there? You didn't tell us.
We have another son named Jake Paul, who's a bond trader.
Are you close with him?
Very close.
You don't like that son, do you?
No, I love him. He's
hysterical.
so my wife would say, take the kids to the park.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would. Santa Anita Park, Hollywood Park, Belmont Park. They grew up at the racetrack. So that's how Troy got.
Not Central Park.
No,
Yeah.
no. There's not.
I didn't go to Disneyland until I was like 11.
I love it. You know, my dad used to take me to the Trotters.
Exactly.
I love them. Oh my God, in Jersey. Oh my God.
So
We
much
had
fun.
such a good father-son bonding over that. And I picked different races and win place or show. And
You can't win any money at Disneyland, Troy.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
taught you that
I
at
know.
6.
Exactly.
Didn't go to Disneyland, but I was at Santa Anita Park.
And as a result of your love, you ended up, my God, writing a best-selling book called The Greatest Gambling Story Ever Told. How did that happen?
I was involved in a very interesting story. We thought that there was a filly that could win the Kentucky Derby in 1988. And it's like with male athletes, typically you don't have females competing against males in athletic endeavors. And it's like that in horse racing. And this particular female horse was dominant, and she was doing so well. She was owned by Eugene Klein, who owned the San Diego Chargers. Long story, we wound up betting a very large wager on her. And 6 months before the Kentucky Derby, we started saying, this filly could win the Derby. We were, semi-pro gamblers, so we shopped around. She was 12-1 in Las Vegas. She was 50-1 at a racetrack in Tijuana, Mexico, called Agua Caliente. And we drove down there and bet $25,000 to win on her at 50-1 6 months before the race.
Why?
A female to win the Kentucky Derby. It was the stupidest thing ever. The filly keeps winning and winning and winning. And then we find out 3 weeks before the race that the racetrack was owned by the Felix Arellano drug cartel. So everybody's telling us, even if your filly wins the Derby, you think you're going to go down to Mexico and collect $1 million in cash. They're going to kill you. They'll rob you in the parking lot. They'll rob you on the way to the border. So that's the whole story.
Wow.
So it became a bestseller. It's
Hold
actually,
on. Did you win the $1 million-ish?
You got to read the book.
Well, I have read it. You don't want... All right, but that's the teaser for y'all, listeners, and a plug for the book, and it's made the Amazon
I've been in
list 20 times or something.
I've been in number 1 in 10 separate Amazon categories.
All right, well, I'm exaggerating.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you both. Before we break, I just have to say, I find what you do fascinating. I think the listeners are going to really understand why we brought you here and why I asked you to be on the show, because it is so difficult in the movie business, in the television business, to cut through the noise. So what you have done by finding this white space, this corner to be able to enter and to find audiences is so commendable and so fascinating. And I just thank you both so much for being here.
Thank
you so much for having us on, Kevin. It's a great time.
I look forward to working with you for a lot of years.
To our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you'd like to learn more about SGG Media, you can find them online and across social media. For more insights into filmmaking, audience testing, and the business of Hollywood, I invite you to check out my book, Audienceology, at Amazon or through my website at kevingets360.com. You can, of course, also follow me on my social media. Next time on Don't Kill the Messenger, I'll welcome veteran studio marketing executive and current president and COO of Screen Engine ASI and the co-author of my upcoming book, How to Score in Hollywood, Bob Levin. Until then, I'm Kevin Getz, and to you, our listeners, I appreciate you being part of the movie-making process. Your opinions matter,